courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. Today we're going to talk about assisted living. You folks out there, you got veterans in the family, this would be a good thing for you to listen to. If you're not a veteran, it's still good to listen to. So stay where you are, get you a pen. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins. Today we're talking with Chip Cook. He's the executive director of the, let me make sure I get this right, McClellan Assisted Living Community. It's a new facility out at Fort McClellan, the old Fort McClellan. They call it McClellan now, and we're going to talk about that. And a lot of you have been asking me questions about assisted living, so we're going to talk about it today. Welcome to the show, Chip.
Thank you, Ken.
Good to have you here, man.
Thank you for having me.
All right, good. Are you from here?
I'm from Gadsden, actually, Ken.
That's way up there, up north.
Way 30 minutes up 431, not too bad.
Well, that's around here. That's in our coverage
It
area.
is.
So, yeah, that's good. Anyhow, we this facility. How many people can you take out there? Well, I haven't got that in writing or nothing. But
We are licensed for 78 individuals. We have apartments for 64.
okay, you say individuals now. You the person and their spouse can be there.
Correct.
Would that be 78, including the spouse?
Correct. We over-licensed in the event that we should have a need for couples.
I got you. That's great. It's a beautiful facility. We're going to show some pictures here in a minute, and hopefully people get an idea of what they're doing out there. The people that know McClellan, they know is the Buckner Circle and all the things that they had out there, the old Spanish, I call it Spanish type buildings.
Right.
But they are, is always beautiful. And now you've taken some, our officers' quarters, is that what they were?
They were the VOQ, the Visiting Officers' Quarters, and we converted them into this 6-story assisted living facility.
Well, it really looks nice. I want to talk about some of the things it's got, and it's where people would go to maybe call their home. They feel like they're at home, and there's certain things that the person's got at home that you need to have at the new home. So
Sure.
Tell me about some of the things, the amenities you got out there.
Part of the amenities that we are so proud of is that it feels more like a resort hotel than it does a facility, and that we have professional chefs that prepare all 3 meals. We have licensed staff who's on duty 24/7 to assist with any type of care that you need. We have nurses that oversee medications to make sure that's given as doctors ordered. We have housekeeping, we have laundry staff, we have transportation to and from doctor's appointments. So anything that you need, we're there to provide it for you.
You have 3 chefs, or you have a chef for each meal?
2 chefs.
2 chefs. And do you have people on special diets? Does that equate into that?
We do. We can accommodate special diets, diabetic diets. We communicate with the physicians just to make sure that that's on our diet list. The majority of them are. So certainly we do accommodate for those.
Yeah. Which control room will bring up a picture. We give folks an idea of what we're talking about out there. Sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words, and we can see some of it. And there's one. Tell us about that. What is that?
That is our front entrance of the facility. That's our portico that also features our alfresco dining. So on a little bit cooler weather and pretty days, folks can go outside and eat if they'd like to do so.
Okay. And the next one up, please.
That is also a side shot of the alfresco dining.
Okay. And this is just a lounge area?
That's the back patio for folks that want to sit out and enjoy the nature. We have a lot of wildlife, wild turkeys, wild deer that come just right up to our fence and try to eat our roses.
Uh-oh. You don't want Bubba out there. You talking about wild deer. And that is the facility from was that 6 stories?
It is. You're looking at 5 stories there from the parking lot. Our basement is the 6th. We're kind of on a slope, so can't see that one, but that's the front of the facility.
Yeah. I didn't even know that it existed out there, and I live here, but that's, I get a lot of calls for people that they are not ready for a nursing home, and they don't want to be in a nursing home. They need a little help.
Right.
Now, some of the things that, let's say, Mr. Jones is slipping and falling a little bit or not taking medication. I talked in the green room earlier that I've got the situation with somebody in my family that either takes too much medication or not enough, and no fault of theirs. They just can't remember, did I take it or should I take? How many did I take? 2 or 4?
Right.
Y'all take care of those kind of things?
We do, and that's one of the triggers that brings someone to our facility is taking too much medicine, not taking enough, or not eating properly. Those would be the number 2 triggers, both of which can cause major health problems. Having someone to regulate those for you takes worry off the individual. It takes worry off the adult children as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things is the kids don't want to put their parents in a place that they won't take care of them like they took care of them. Are all the facilities the same in all states, or is it just?
They're not. Facilities are regulated state by state. For instance, Georgia's rules and regulations are very much different than Alabama's. So it is regulated on a state by state basis.
Who regulates? Is it the state health department? Or
It's the Alabama Department of Public Health
Okay.
Assisted Living Division.
Okay, that's. I'm gonna bring this over here because I wrote myself some notes. I don't want to get now. I don't want to forget things like I normally do. So I made something special today. I put myself some notes. Now, the rooms are they private rooms? Are they shared with, or what?
No, sir, they're all private rooms with private bathrooms. In the event that a couple did want to share an apartment, certainly that's okay. That's fine. But for the most part, for a single individual, yes, all the apartments are private.
What else? What would they have in there other than the bed and sofa? And
Well, everybody brings their own furniture from home because
Okay,
we
yeah.
want them to feel like that is their extended home. We
Okay.
want pictures of grandkids on the walls. We want that favorite recliner. We want there's no bed like your own, so bring your own bed, furnish
Absolutely.
it just like you'd like to.
Absolutely, that's great. Now you was telling me before we was talking about Skype. The folks that's watching know about Skype. You'll have that where they can talk to their relatives from distance.
We do. We have a private dining room / conference room that's set up for residents that have kids out of state. It always happens that someone has a child, say in Colorado, for instance, and that child it's okay for a phone call. Sure, that's great, but to actually see your parent and your child on the screen, you're talking back and forth. I think it's great. It's great that technology's come this far to allow that, and the residents really love it.
I was thinking the other day, actually, I had booked you for the show. I was thinking about what about somebody that's military retired and they just getting a little bit forgetful, but not ready for. And the doctor don't say that you need to go. They don't have to have a doctor's written statement to go in there to do this, do they?
No, they don't. They can explore the process themselves or with their children, which is simply calling or coming by and sitting down with me and having a chat. And there is eventually in the process a paper that the doctor would fill out simply to let us know the person's health care needs so that the nurse can put together a plan of care for that.
It'd be improbable that somebody of age to go out there and move into your facility would not meet somebody that they already know from this area that they were ever, say, stationed out there, or this McClellan County, everybody knows everybody anyhow. So
that's correct. You always start talking, and it's something like you said.
But it's also a good chance to meet new friends.
It is.
Of the same age group.
And socialization is a big part of life. It doesn't matter what age person you are. And say a person's lost a spouse, they've been married 50 years, and all of a sudden now they're sitting at home in a dark room, not really getting out, not seeing anybody. That's depressing. So you need to be around people, which is another aspect of why someone might consider assisted living.
So widower, would that be a great? Absolutely. I hadn't even thought about that. That's be now the payment of that. How does that work? Does that come out of the?
In Alabama, it's strictly private pay. However, there are some options that the VA will assist with. It's called the aid and attendance benefit. A lot of people don't know that that's out there. And I would encourage anyone that's thinking about this process to contact their local VA office and inquire about that. They can call me at the facility. We have an email that they can info. Be glad to sit down with anybody and go over that information. It's very helpful. Sometimes it can make the difference in someone being able to afford the facility or not.
We got to go to a break. Come back. We're going to talk. We're going to pick up right there. Go to a break. Come back. I got more. We're going to talk about that assisted living. Stay where you are. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. I'm talking with Chip Cook today, and he's the Executive Director of the Assisted Living, McClellan Assisted Living Community out in McClellan, here outside of Anniston. And Chip, when we left, we was talking about the veterans costs, and you said they go to the veterans office and get their certificate, or what they got to have now.
If you have discharge papers, that's helpful, but they can also pull you up by the Social Security number of you or your spouse. I have the actual paperwork to get the process started, and be glad, like I said, for anybody to come by that I can help out. Be glad to get the process going.
I know a lot of the veterans have lost their spouse, and they're just sitting home. And rather than worrying about cutting the grass and all the things they got to do in the twilight of their years,
correct.
That's what we talk about on the phone. You know, we're sitting here, we're paying lawn people to cut our grass and that kind of thing, and why not enjoy some? I just share a little thing with you. Years ago, when I was 35, many years ago, Chubby Checker and I were sitting on a bus in Meridian, Mississippi, and he said, "How old are you?" Because he was wanting me to exercise. I smoked cigarettes back then, and so I was 35. So he drew a 0, 35, 70. That's how old he thought I'd live to be. And he said, "You're half dead now." So that gave me some thought, and I think about it over the year. I don't think a Chubby Checker a great philosopher, but what he said made a lot of sense. He showed me a period where you should be able to work all these years and enjoy your life some right here, whether it's vacation or whatever. But that's so this would be where you could throw your worries away, your rent, your mortgage, and let somebody else take care of it. And
Correct.
Don't worry about the lawn. And now, what about if they have to go to doctors on transportation? They get to where they don't drive very good.
We have unlimited transportation. If you have 5 doctor's appointments a week, we'll get you to all 5, anywhere in the Anniston and Oxford area.
And we did talk about helping them with medication. That's something that's very, very important. Do y'all assist with getting their medication? Let's say that they through the VA, they get their medicine out of Birmingham and they call that number. Do y'all do that, or what all do you do with the medication?
We handle all of the medications for them. If they choose, there's an option. A person can still self-administer their medication. However, it's no additional charge for us to do it. So why not take one worry off? Yeah. We handle all that, from the ordering of the medication to the administering of the medication. When a refill is necessary, our nurse takes care of that.
You got a lot of nurses out there?
We have a nurse that handles all of the caregivers. So she is there Monday through Friday, and she's on call 24/7. God love her.
Wow, that's fantastic to have that. And what determines that someone's going to be able? What determines the cost of that? How do you determine the cost?
Well, McClellan Assisted Living is a little different in that aspect, in that we do not charge for levels of care. We don't charge for additional services. Levels of care, for those that don't know, would be when someone comes in and say entry level, and in 6 months to a year, their needs increase. Maybe they need, instead of standby assistance with the shower, they need hands-on assistance with the shower. They've gone from self-medicating to nurse-administered medication. That changes the price. Not at McClellan. We are all-inclusive. We include everything. If you need transportation, you need medication, we do your laundry for you. It's all included in that one price. There's no additional add-ons, no tack-ons, no surprises on that monthly fee. You know what's coming.
Years ago, my father-in-law had living in an apartment type thing, and a nurse would come by like once a week, whatever, check on him. But it wasn't assisted living per se. But he was worried about falling. That was his biggest thing, being alone. And what if I fall and I'm in here and there's nobody I can reach? That little button is not with me.
Right.
That I fall and I can't get up. And that's what people up there in the age get to worrying about. I know sometimes I think about it myself. What if I fall in this shower and there's nobody? How am I going to get? Is that would bring somebody to your facility? I would think.
It would. And I'm a huge fan of home health and hospices. We have some great local services here, but it does get to that point where maybe coming by a few times a week, they've kind of crossed that line into something else. Yeah. And everybody is afraid of the fall, and our staff is trained in doing every 2-hour checks. so that it's no more than just maybe on third shift especially, just peeping in, making sure that nobody's rolled out of bed. On maybe first and second shift, and even third too, assisting people to and from the restroom just to avoid falls. That's the thing with having someone there 24/7. You've always got someone at your fingertips.
And if you didn't, just not the assistants, but somebody that would check on them, that somebody wouldn't lay there for 6 to 8 hours.
Correct.
You know, that's happens a lot.
Right.
Too
Absolutely.
much, you know. And I think we was talking about an insurance company in good hands where people can relax, saying mom and dad are in a good place. We don't have to worry about them. They're being taken care of.
Correct.
And then they get on Skype and they talk back and forth about it. I mentioned something that I always bothered me. One of the things, if I had to go into any kind of a home, is I'd have to leave my little dog. But my little dog can come visit me out there, but it can't say, is that it?
Correct. Because sometimes, you know,
Other people are allergic to it.
well,
that kind of
other
thing.
people can be allergic, or just the care of the dog itself might be too much
Right.
on the individual. So they can come and visit as much as they'd like. They just can't stay.
Do you have a place out there, and I didn't look at all the details, do you have a place where people can sit in a common room and maybe watch football games, things like that, a big
Absolutely. We have a big, on the floor that you can't see, the bottom floor, we have a big game room there with a flat screen just for that. Because as we all know, you know, the Iron Bowl's not far away, so.
Yeah. War tide.
War tide. I'll just leave it at that.
you can't mess up your day. I was going through the Dunkin' Donuts line this morning. I paid it forward, and the lady was looking back. She's talking to the girl. I know she's asking, why is he doing this? And I saw a Auburn thing on the tongue. I yelled out the one to War Eagle, so she'd think I did it because she's a War Eagle thing. But I got a habit of paying it forward on this thing. That's this thing here. The you're talking about the one of the things I noticed in some of your brochures with the training of your people. They're not just nurses. They go to special training for people like this, to assisted living.
Correct. Our management company is Sage Management out of Orange Beach. They've been in business for over 17 years in the assisted living business. They own facilities. They consult in facilities. They also manage facilities. Their reputation is stellar in this state. It truly is. And if for nothing else, do your homework on Sage Management and look at their background record and just know that your loved one will always be in good hands because of how high standards that they hold.
Yeah.
And in those standards comes staff training.
That's one of the things that you touched on. You said background, but do you do, and I'm just about sure that you do a background on the people that are given the care?
We do, Ken. Surprisingly enough, in Alabama, it's not required that you do background checks
Really?
on our employees. However, we do them because quality assurance is part of what we've assured the families. You know, if you trust us to take care of your loved one, I want to be able to assure you that we've done our homework and made sure the individual that is doing so has been checked on.
We're running out of time. I got a couple of questions. Does Medicaid or Medicaid pay anything on this?
Not in the state of Alabama. They do not.
I knew that answer, but I wanted to make sure we got that out there. And the other one is, does long-term insurance policies pay anything on it?
Long-term care insurance policies will pay certain policies. I've become well-versed in reading over those, so if you'll bring those into the facility, I'll be glad to look over it and explain to you if you have those benefits or not.
And less than 30 seconds, what do you leave out?
Come and visit us at McClellan Assisted Living. We're always open for tours.
And we got the phone number. It's been put up there all during the show.
Yes, if you'd like to, for information, you can send an email to info@mcclellanassistedliving.com. You can give us a call at 256-403-6808.
Or they can call me.
Or they can call you.
Man, I've enjoyed it. I'm glad to know that we got something
Thank
like
you.
that here. I might be one of your customers.
We'll save you a room with the view.
Save me one with the view. Come back. We got news that you can use. Stay where you are. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. I appreciate you coming in and doing the show today. We learned something about assisted living that I did not know we had here in our area, and I hope that a lot of people get something out of that. And if you missed any of the information for its contact, just give me a call. Everybody knows how to get in touch with me. And we'll be talking about it in weeks to come, because I'm glad that we got something like that here especially for the veterans, that if you're some of the other places, the homes, the waiting lists and that kind of thing, and the veterans like to be here in the area close to their friends, and the places that they're familiar with. So if you got a question about that, just give me a call and I'll put you back in touch with these folks. And the VA, there's going to be on here, the director of the VA will be here not this next week, but probably the following week. And we're going to talk about what's going on over at the VA hospital over there. Some of you asked about the new parking deck. They moved that up from July to, I think, November. But when they do, there'll be about 2,500 parking spots up there just for the veterans, not sharing with the Children's Hospital or UAB or anyone. This will be ours. And also the women's clinic. When standalone women's clinic, or not a standalone, but it's going to be a separate from the VA hospital for you women. And I remember years ago when the fellow said, well, we won't need any thing for our women veterans after the World War II veterans pass over. And undoubtedly he hadn't heard of that thing called the Vietnam War. So anyhow, we do have a, excuse me, I'm getting to yodeling now. We still have that facility coming about. And if you like to, if someone don't have this show on cable or whatever, ATT Universe, tell them to go on WEAC TV 24, Veterans Issue, and look at the on demand button, and they can pull up the shows and look at them. Let's see what else I got. I got to talk about Pay It Forward. Folks said my daughter was going through the line the other day and somebody paid $1.89 for her sweet tea or whatever it was she's getting, and you'd have thought they gave her $1 million. Now she's out paying it forward, and I'm going to end up having to give her money to pay for her paying it forward. But no, seriously, that is something that it makes you feel good, and it also bless the persons in front of you or behind you. So right now, and while we're talking about the VA, we're still parking at 2128 4th Avenue over there. That's a cumbersome place to park, but it is what it is. I need you to write this address. It's P.O. Box 1826, and that's in Anniston, 36202. That's to help out, contribute to build the memorials for the law enforcement, firefighters, Afghan and Iraq memorials. I was hoping that the legislature was going to come through and help us on that, but because they had money involved in it, they didn't help us in this time. So boo on you, legislature. And talking to legislature, I haven't heard anything on that on earmarking funds that's being brought up in this session. As I'm doing this show today, they are in session, but there's nothing being talked about on earmarking. So once that is done, then you'll need to, I'll need to tell you about it, because we got to stop it. There is a flat tax bill out there that's being initiated this week. That's going to hurt a lot of people if it goes through, the flat tax bill. And I wish I had that bill number, but you need to make a call to your senator and let them know that we don't want that flat tax bill out there, because if you're retired, that will really slap you where you don't need to be slapped. Okay, this is this week. I want this salute to go out to all the active duty military and their spouses. Spouses are sitting here waiting on them to return home safe. So this salute's for you, and we'll see you next week right here on Veterans Issues. Salute.